Hi everybody, welcome again to my YouTube channel. My name is Temisan Ojabo. Happy New Year. It's so good to be in your faces this morning or afternoon or evening, depending on when you're watching me. Today we are going to be talking about the learning pyramid. The reason why I chose this topic is because it's still the first quarter of a new year, and so people are still working on their goals, their dreams, their plans, and they're trying to see how they can achieve all their plans. People are trying to learn new skills, people are trying to learn new topics, people are going back to school after the long holiday and the COVID lockdown. So learning might not be something that we were doing actively. So I just wanted to just bring this topic to just throw more light on how it is that we can learn, right? Be it at home, in school, or in your career, in anything you're doing. The learning pyramid is actually a step-by-step process that helps you acquire knowledge, right? So it's something that has been in existence for a very long time. Now, the learning pyramid. You know the pyramid, right? It's the triangle. So if you don't know what the pyramid is, it's like a triangular shape. It's a triangle shape, And so the first part of that triangle is called the lecturing. Now, the way you're listening to me, right, it's as if I am lecturing you. If, for example, this is a class setting, of course, with COVID, online learning has gone online for the most part. So when you sit in a classroom, in a lecture room, or you're watching somebody give you a information on any certain topic, it's a form of lecturing. As you are only using your ears. Sometimes people don't listen with their eyes. Sometimes people listen with their eyes. They have to see you and hear you to understand what you're saying. Others can be playing with something and they're actively listening to you. So lecturing is a form of learning. You sit and someone is teaching you a topic or something. The research has shown that the amount of knowledge you gain when you are being lectured is 5%. Yeah, I said it. I know, right? So all of us that are going to school, all of us going for trainings and stuff, lecturing is just 5%. You gain just 5% of knowledge when you are being lectured. Now let's move to the next step. It's called reading. Now, after a session is over, we usually go back to our notes, we read all the topic, all the important points we have taken down, all those sorts of things. Guess how many percent that adds to your learning process? 10, just 10%. So you see that only attending lectures or participating in a course, and with this new age of so many courses, everybody's doing courses, and some people are saying that, oh, these courses are not working. My question to you is, after you learn that, after you sit in that course, do you go back to read? Because that sitting down process is just 5% of knowledge you gain. Have you gone back to your notes to read it, done more research on those topics? Because what your facilitator or coach may have taught you is like the skeletal points. No, they can't really go in depth. You as a person have to take time and the pain and the energy to go back and do further research. That process that you're going back to do further research and reading adds just 10% to your knowledge bank. Guys, you see how constant learning, the process of learning is a lifelong process. It's a long process that is unending. The next step is the audiovisual learning. This is a very interesting style of learning, and I've practiced it before. So how did I do that? Audiovisual learning is using your eyes and your ears to learn. Someone advised that you get an audio book, you're listening to it, and then you get the real book that had physical copy and you're reading it. So as the audiobook is playing in your ear, you're following it with your eyes, right? That makes that active listening and hearing. That active hearing and watching and reading is what is called the audiovisual, and that process gives you 20% increase on your knowledge base. So that is somewhat better than just listening and just learning. And here's a tip: while I was in uni, right, while I was doing my postgraduate, not undergrad, my postgraduate, I always recorded my classes. Every single class, I record it. People, well, it was a lot because my phone, oh my goodness, thank God I was using an iPhone, so of course the memory was intense. So what I did was I take a lot of notes in class, and then I have, this is just a tip. If you, for those people that are having courses they're going to be doing this year and stuff, while the lecture is going on, record it and take notes. When you get back home, right, and you do more research, while you're reading your notes, play that lecture back. You see, it's like you're reliving your class, your moment, the moment when you're in that class, you're reliving it. And so that makes the knowledge stick more. It's fantastic. Like, I will remember all the jokes, all the scenarios. And imagine if you have an exam in, like, say 4 months, right? Let's say your semester or your tenure for lecture or for the course or that program is like 5 months, and the first 3 months were like lectures, and you have like a month or two to read, and then imagine you start to listen to your classes from the beginning every time. Just it will be hard for you to forget because your ears have heard so much, your eyes have seen all the diagrams, all the notes you're writing, so it's imprints in your mind. It's a very fantastic. I've tried it. It works like magic. Literally, when you get to the exam hall or whatever kind of exams you're writing or whatever kind of exam you need to write, immediately you look at that question. It's like your brain goes back to that very instant when you were reading, and you realize that you start to remember all the times you've read, the process in your brain, what you remembered at first, what came, and so exam will just be easy. Use that tip. The next is demonstration. Demonstration is like it's more like the practical angle of learning, where the tutor or the facilitator or the lecturer is demonstrating how this thing is being used. This is also another fantastic way of learning because you get to see firsthand how things work. It's not you're not just reading theory, you're seeing it. So it's like a journey. Your lecturer, tutor, or facilitator is taking you on a journey through, and your coach is taking you through a journey through how that thing is learned. I like a very wonderful coach that does that is Tony Robbins. Sometimes during his trainings or his coaching sessions or when he goes on his tours, he handles some cases there in the training ground. He tells a participant, stand up, what's the problem? And as the person is talking to him, he's immediately addressing that issue there and then. He's demonstrating to the people he's coaching how these things are done practically. So even if you forget reading, if you forget researching, if you forget the audio-visual learning, you will not forget the experience, the practical experience. The science part of education, which is all the chemistry, the bio, the robotics, they do that a lot. They do a lot of practicals. They go to the lab, they do test tubing, they do all those sorts of things. When they teach you that way, you also don't forget history. So that's another reason why demonstration is also another fantastic method of learning. And guess how much percentage of information you grab? 30. You see how we're growing in the ladder? 30. And that is why I'm still a firm believer of not crash reading. It still goes back to my famous quote by Socrates. He said, know thyself. As an individual, what is the best way you learn? Right? Because 2021, I don't want it to be another year where we just spring through things and then it's like, oh my goodness, at the end of the year, through December, you're like, what did I actually learn? What skill did I develop? What knowledge did I add to my knowledge bank? What did I, you start asking yourself all these questions. These tips will help you retain knowledge in ways that you can't even fathom. You will then see yourself graduating to becoming a teacher. Let's move to the next step. It's called practice doing. Now the facilitator, tutor, or lecturer has taught you, your coach has taught you, has shown you the physical demonstration. They have done all that step by step. It is now time for you to do. Chris Do is this famous guy who is into personal development. He's a famous believer for doing. And I have learned that by doing, you learn. Sometimes some people, we sit down with our idea, we're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do, we never take action. Do you know that if you learn something, according to this learning pyramid, if you learn something and you practice it, guys, you realize that you gain knowledge by 75%. When you're learning something and you're doing it, it means you want to start a YouTube channel. You've read everything, all the articles online. You have attended the course that you paid a certain amount of money for them to teach you. You have also done the audiovisual learning. You have the replays of the video. You also then have your notes you've taken. You've done that. Your tutor showed you how they do their YouTube videos. They walked you through the process. Now you are now sitting down there like, this video, how am I going to do it? Till you take your camera and place it in front of you and start. Everything you have learned, you've not practicalized it. So you've only acquired knowledge that has not yet been materialized. So the doing part of learning something is you are now practicalizing what you have learned. And the beautiful part of practicing is that you make mistakes and you learn from that mistakes. So those mistakes while you're practicing is another learning point. The next step, right? I decided to flip it this way. I decided to put discussion. This is very, very important. These days we belong to group chats, WhatsApp group chats. Now with Clubhouse in vogue, we have WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, different kinds of communities where we have opportunities to express ourselves. Whenever you learn something new, find a way to discuss it with your family, with your friends, in your community, in the online community you belong to. Find a way to bring that topic out and then discuss it. If someone posts a problem that they're having or a question that they need problem solving on, and you think that information you have learned, right, can help, just discuss it with that person, right? The more you discuss with the person, right, different things open up, right? And one of the things that open up is you begin to learn on the spot. So when you discuss, somebody else might have an idea on that topic. They'll bring it up, right? As that person is bringing up that topic, you're also giving back. So immediately you're learning. You're learning with your eyes, you're learning with your ears, right? Some of you, while discussing, you like to take notes. While you're doing that, it's also a learning process. Another thing is that you're developing new ideas. New ideas in your discussion, because that person is coming with his own vast skills, vast experience, vast knowledge bank, everything. So they can even chip up new things that you don't even know, even on an idea that you have studied. So that's a really, really, really interesting thing you find when you discuss. The next thing you find is that you engage in problem solving. So while you're deliberating, you and the person you're discussing with, the person can formulate a problem. And then before you know, your brain is already thinking of how to solve that problem, right? And then you gain a better sense of understanding. That is to say, even while you're sleeping, someone wakes you up and say, speak about learning pyramid. You remember. Why? Because you have engaged your mind in that form of discussion. And so it will be difficult for you to forget. It's like you gist about it, like you crack jokes. You see also. So at the end of the day, you find out that topic, you now have a rich body of knowledge added to it. Because you might be, if you're discussing that thing with a comedian, for example, you might just pop up with a joke. That's content that you didn't get on Google. That's content you didn't get by doing research. That's content you only got by having that conversation. And so you see that you're a person that's highly knowledgeable, that even has jokes to go with their learning processes. And then the final one, and this form of learning, according to the research, it shows that you learn by 50%, and that's more halfway. So understand who you are, understand how you can thrive, and understand how these learning steps can improve on your learning journey. The final step is you learn by teaching others. And that's what I'm doing here today. So my YouTube channel, right, is something that came from the place of wanting to give back. A lot of things that I have learned, either in my experience of life and in my experience of through reading and speaking with friends and family and all the connection and contact and the communities that I'm exposed to, all that knowledge, I feel they'll be valuable to somebody. And so I sit in front of you today to teach you these little ways that I've been able to improve myself. And by doing that, I'm also teaching myself, because what you don't know is, as I'm speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself, because I'm listening to myself. I'm listening to what's coming out of my mouth. And so in that process, I am perfecting my learning skill. My learning abilities are sharpened, and I'm quick with and understanding of any kind of topic I'm bringing to you. So guys, I hope that with this video you've been able to learn how to develop the skills of learning, the styles of learning, and apply it to your learning process. And I'm sure that you will have wonderful feedback that I have had. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends and family. Thank you for watching. Bye.